This is Penn Sunday School, and to our listening ears, all nature sings and round us rings the music of the sea. Penn Sunday School.
Brothers, sisters, siblings, welcome to Penn Sunday School, starring Penn Gillette. My name is Michael Goodell. Matt Dudley, Reddy Rich, Penn and I are broadcasting from our separate homes in Las Vegas. This week we're talking garage sale, dentist, doctor, barber, maybe some fool updates, and Goodell is looking for a new vocabulary word. Here he is, preaching love, Mr. Penn Gillette.
Yeah, I'm preaching love already. I can tell. It's so strange. But last week, there was a bit of kind of slowness and kind of pensive quality to the shows. And we all seem up and happy. Why the fuck are we happy?
I have no idea.
Even worse since last week.
I agree. I don't know why. I was walking around last night feeling a sense of optimism. And I was like, why?
Did all of us have the pool for over 200,000 dead? We all have. We all have a lot of money riding on that. Is that what happened?
I've given up on giving up. I'm just going to go with good. Things are good. Hi, Penn.
Yeah. Hi, Goodell. Hi, Reddy. Hi, Matt. We've crossed over into a level of fatigue and mental illness. It's really odd.
Or we're just, this is now our life, and we're okay with that.
We all seem very, very happy. Well, I'm about to fall out of the groove.
Yeah.
You know, it's been one day. 6 months have been one day. Nothing breaks it up. But starting tomorrow, I leave the Gillette bubble and go into the Teller bubble.
That is not an upgrade.
No. I'm going into a rehearsal house where I'll be living with Teller.
Yep. Now, the last time you lived with Teller was the 70s?
Yes. And it was repulsive and disgusting.
And you don't even have Mark Garland to sing cruel songs about him with. You're just you're alone.
Just us. We used to, when we traveled, we used to stay in a Motel 6 together.
Right.
And neither one of us had, shall we say, a friend. The other one would walk around in the parking lot for that amount of time.
So you really got to understand each other.
I mean, really walk around in the parking lot for that amount of time. I guess we could, in principle. I don't really remember that well. We could, in principle, take the car.
Right.
To drive
Listen to the radio or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a cassette player in the car, so that's probably what we did a lot.
Yeah.
Or go to McDonald's or something, But no cell phones. So no way to tell,
Yeah.
Right. You had to sit outside and watch the door. You done?
Kind of surveillance.
How'd it go? From the parking lot.
So, but we won't actually. Teller will not be staying there. He'll be working all day. Then he goes home, and then I will stay there.
You'll stay locked up.
That'll be great.
So they trust you alone with all your props for this season?
Everybody who knows me knows that I don't touch props. And I will be in the house with no responsible adult.
Oh, good.
Teller will go home. Actually, I will probably come back and see my family from a distance.
Oh, interesting.
Park across the street.
Oh, that's so
watching
funny.
Through the windows. No, I can go outside, 15 feet apart and talk to them.
Yeah.
That's what we've been doing in your backyard. 15 feet apart.
Same thing as being Goodell.
I'm
using a straw with my
Are you
tea.
feeling good about the what do you have? You have 14 tricks ready to rock for this season?
Well, no, that's why we go into rehearsal. If we had 14 tricks ready to rock, we would not go into rehearsal. We have 20 tricks that look very good on paper.
Oh, good.
We hope that comes out to 14 that look very good on camera.
Okay.
We have room for some shrinkage. We've been rehearsing one with masks with my daughter for a week now. That is, I think, and you can you'll be able to judge because you'll see it there live. I
You'll
think
be
it's
turning the knob for the crowd response.
the most amazing box trick I've ever seen.
That's exciting. I'm very excited to see this.
I believe we have done the box trick better than anyone ever has.
Because we're going to review an episode of Fool Us, and there's a box trick on the latest episode of Fool Us that you guys took on. There's a little bit of pushback on. So I'm curious about this take on box illusions.
But you might notice that I'm using a straw for my tea.
Yeah, we did, because it's clanking. It's a metal straw.
It's a metal straw because I don't want to kill fish or turtles or whatever straws kill. But my
Prime ministers
teeth
of third world countries
were very discolored because I drink a lot of coffee and I drink a lot of hibiscus tea and I eat blueberries. And my wife reprimands me that my teeth, I brush my teeth and floss 3 times a day.
Right.
So there's not a question of hygiene, but there is a question of staining. So I went to my dentist. Teller said, if you go to medical professionals, they are very this time. So we took the children to a pediatrician. And while we were at it, Dr. Lepore, who's a buddy of ours, we also got our own flu misters. Have you had flu misters yet?
Not yet.
That was the name of my a cappella group in college.
Flu misters.
All men.
More. Do you have more?
No, that's all I got.
And they instead of giving you a shot, and you'd think since the shot hurts more, it's better for you.
Right.
But no, the mister is actually supposed to be a more powerful deterrent.
A few years ago, they tried it, and it was not as effective. So maybe they've developed a new one. That'd be good.
Well, it's more effective because it gives you the virus in a more ready form. And so we got the misters. One of the reasons I think that study you're referring to was not accurate. I talked to my doctor about that.
Well, I think it was, widespread, pretty widespread versus vaccine. And it was probably 7 years ago. So I would imagine.
Yeah, but he also talked about that having some trouble, that study, because of target groups they were going for and how they were breaking it down. Okay. But anyway, it's supposed to be very good.
It's getting spicy.
And it's like they
shut up and sing, Matt.
They can't get rid of the desire to do that, to have their fingers out and push. So the mister is just a hypodermic needle with the end pulled off. They just put it in your nose and go. And you get it.
I was picturing something like out of like science fiction where you like open it and it was like a cloud that's something in your face. You know?
No, it's like a hypodermic needle without the needle. They just go.
Okay.
They go.
All right.
They do one in each nose, in each nostril.
So is it Mr. Goo?
Mist.
Okay.
Mr. Goo was my a cappella. So I went there, then I went to the dentist, and the dentist said, "Boy, your teeth are very, very stained." And he said, "There's only really 3 things that stain you badly, and that is coffee, tea, and blueberries." So they did the whole thing. Now, my friend David Greenberger said he went to the dentist, and when he came in, you texted them beforehand, you walked in, and they went through a whole regimen. And he said one thing they did was they sprayed the bottom of his shoes. And he said, "Why are you spraying the bottom of my shoes?" And they said, "Well, you walked in here and there could have been some COVID spitters." And he said, "COVID spitters? Is that a
that was my
band?"
acapella group.
Right, exactly. Is that a punk band? And she didn't know what he was talking about because she was too young to know that punk bands had eccentric names. They assumed that someone would have COVID, spit on the sidewalk, and you'd step in it and come into the dentist's office. which I still don't know who is laying on the floor of the dentist office breathing in the fibers. I don't know.
So, is that documented anywhere as a thing?
I don't think so. And then I read on the
I'm
interweb.
doing this thing because I made up this danger in my head.
Yeah.
And I'm being proactive about it.
So they didn't spread the bottom of my shoes. They clean my teeth very nicely. And then I read on the web that if you drink with a straw, you can mitigate the coffee and tea.
Oh,
right.
Interesting.
So now you're
If
practicing.
you eat blueberries with a straw, you can get booked.
I like copper straws or metal straws. Do you have a copper one? What do you got?
Mine is silver, I think, or it's silver colored, probably stainless steel.
I really like the really fat silicone ones. Those are really nice.
Well, the feature
We're
of
not
it.
talking about strippers anymore, Godot. Now we're going on to straws.
But
I do like the
steak,
fat silicone ones on strippers as well.
They also make good straws.
I like the metal stays cold. That's something you don't think about. Switching over to a more environmental.
I'm talking about robot strippers.
I like that it stays cool.
I'm drinking hot tea.
Oh,
Are you drinking hot tea?
dangerous. That's dangerous.
Speaking of hottie, tell us about those fat silicone strippers.
Straws.
So I went out into the world, doctor and a dentist the same day.
Whoa!
And we did this crazy thing that felt like contraband. While we were out, through our app, we ordered Starbucks.
Oh yeah,
And it was the first Starbucks I've had in 6 months.
really?
They're still burning the coffee.
Yeah, they still like that dark roast.
COVID did not change that.
Coffee from every country in the world, and we burn the shit out of it and give it to you. Starbucks.
Fair trade burning.
There ain't a bean we won't torch. Starbucks.
So it was actually a wild experience to be out.
I bet.
Now, what we're going to do is we have 2 weeks of rehearsing with just the two of us. And then we go into quarantine with the whole Fool Us crew, where we have a doctor, a nurse, and a guy who was in charge of virus protection on oil rigs.
Yeah.
Hired him. So
He'll be spraying the bottom of your shoes.
yeah.
I'm excited. They're going to make the whole lobby the truck. There won't be a truck.
Oh, that's right. The whole lobby's going to be the truck?
Yeah. So you're the entire, because that Penn and Teller lobby is gigantic. And so the only place they could put everybody with a table 15 feet apart where they could look at what they need to look at and communicate with each other and get to the stage is the lobby. So the whole lobby is going to be the truck.
And we talked about no one seeing us. You know, we're not going to talk to Andrew or anything. It's all going to be radio.
Oh, neat. Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So we'll still be in the Penn and Teller bubble. Somebody asked, seeing me on 25 words or less, they said I shook someone's hand. Whose hand they say I shook?
Jamie Kennedy.
Jamie Kennedy, which is another fucking season, you idiot.
We're getting good at the viewer mail thing.
Just thought I'd
Thanks
clear
for
that
writing
up
out.
for concerned listeners.
I put a 5-minute block down on the itinerary. I got to cross that out. That is, we are now ahead.
Oh,
We're
good.
done. It's a different fucking season, you fucking idiot. What the fuck is wrong with you? Did you notice any protection at all? No. What the hint was when I was blowing Jamie Kennedy. What else is going on? So have you guys been out at all?
Yes. I kind of had, basically by happenstance, ended up with basically too large of a bubble to start at the pandemic, but I've maintained that exact bubble basically throughout the whole thing. But we're still out and about.
Or oot and a boot for our Canadian.
Oot and a boot.
Oot and a boot. And I still go to grocery stores and I don't get anxiety in them like I first did.
Like you
but
should.
Like I should. Although I guess I'm very lucky compared to most of Las Vegas.
I would say the whole world this past 6 months has been lucky, lucky, lucky. That's the word that pops into my head. Lucky, lucky, lucky. We got the world on fire. We got ice shelves melting. We've got a pandemic, and we've got a batshit crazy president. Lucky, 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 lucky.
I had the highest shoreline bet for Miami, so I'm really looking forward.
That's we're in such good news.
That's right. I've invested in house stilts.
No, I've never seen someone without a mask at any of the places I shop.
Right.
Whatever my neighborhood is, everyone's totally on board with
And they
masking
spray
up.
the bottom of their shoes.
I don't see spraying down, but there was always.
How many COVID spitters?
I saw 3 of them doing an amazing rendition.
That was actually one of the things that the that the flu misters did, wasn't it?
Yeah.
12 days of Christmas.
Yeah, they were doing a version of "Run Around Sue" by Dion when I was going into to the Vons. That was really exceptional.
3 COVID spitters.
Yeah, I was all one doing my old Kentucky home, but they had rewritten some of the lyrics.
5 poorest masks.
But even that, I have to try to curtail because my first COVID test comes in the mail this week before I go into the Rio. So I think I have to be done with even those things until I get through
now there are
my
4
bubble.
major lies. The COVID test is in the mail is number 4.
I've been out hiking. I go out hiking every day.
Every day?
Yeah, pretty much every day. Just about. I've been to the plate store a number of times on your behalf. Can you slow down on the breaking plates thing? Jesus.
What we're doing this season of Fool Us, we're doing plate spinning.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Godot has been in charge. This is what it means to have the level of success we have. When we have to learn a brand new skill, we can hire Godot to learn the skill and teach it to us.
Yep.
Which is actually not as stupid as it sounds, because when you're learning a skill, knowing the setup and the equipment and all of that, and knowing how to learn is a long part of the process. So we're making Godot do all of that.
And it's been fun.
Yeah.
Also, Godot doesn't mind that as much as I do. And Teller likes to go in and fuck up people when they're doing that. So everybody's happy.
Every day I get a new message from Teller going, "Have you tried the sticks a centimeter longer?"
Yeah.
God damn it. I haven't. All right, I'll make them. So I'm back in the shop cutting more fiberglass rods. We have 3 billion fiberglass rods.
And how many messages like that have you gotten from me?
I think 0. The only ones I get from you are, okay. Can I bring over and put in the 1 millimeter longer sticks at your house? Okay.
I'm laughing right now because Godot doesn't think he's entering the Rio bubble, and I just heard what I just heard, and I know he absolutely is. I know that
What?
Godot has to go into the Rio
I
for 10
haven't heard
days with
anything.
every size rod at the ready until
No.
Teller will be
Actually-
calling you in.
My male a cappella group was called Every Size Rod. And surprisingly enough, the bass and the tenor were reversed from what you'd think. Ladies and gentlemen, Every Size Rod. We were a 9-piece a cappella group. And when I say piece, I mean that carefully. And the title of our show is Every Sized Rod, Penn's College a cappella group.
Let me type it up.
And what else have you done to get into the world there, Matt Donnelly?
Well, not too much. I got one haircut, or I guess no, I've gotten 2 haircuts since the pandemic happened.
How
And
do you
as
do
I-
those?
It
Why don't you have
is.
your wife doing it like everyone else? Not that your wife is doing everyone else.
Let's not say one negates the other. We actually have a friend who cuts hair. She basically wanted to give it to us as a gift, as a matter of fact, to give to the family. And so she has a salon where her room is right next to an emergency exit door. So we masked up and came in through the one at a time through the door, or actually one with our child, two at a time with our child in and out through the emergency door, no contact besides her being near us. And she even did a good job of keeping, if she had to take the loop off of our mask, keeping the mask pinned to our face as she cut.
Pinned?
Like, no, with her hand, holding the mask to our face.
I was going to say, wow.
Pin seems really irresponsible.
She's very safe. She took out a rusty pin, shoved it into our face, and kept cutting our hair. Very safe. And as I keep getting balder and balder, I start looking around, and then I started looking into different options. And I heard about this thing called a hair tattoo. It's not called a hair tattoo. It's called a scalp something technical jargon. But they use like a much smaller needle than a tattoo needle. It doesn't go as deep, so you don't bleed or anything with it. But they will basically permanently mark your scalp, which can last up to 7 years, to cover up your bald spot areas. And I looked into it, and it's about $3,000 to do my giant skull for that, which puts it on par with other hair replacement solutions. Which you think that's the whole idea? If I'm going to lean into a shaved head look with a tattooed 5 o'clock shadow or something, that it would save me money, but it's not the case.
You don't have any prison buddies?
I don't.
What happened?
Actually, that was the name of your Cappella group, wasn't it? Prison Buddies?
Yeah, I guess off of Craigslist I can find a cheaper option for sure. But I was
over with a Sharpie once a week for $3,000 for 4 years.
Because if you look in the hair replacement, hair transplant stuff, they do. The first one is free. No, the first one you can get only so much out of a certain amount of time, and after your first time, they have to put you under to do it.
Why after your first time?
I don't know. I just know that this is the policy.
I think it's because after the first time, you know how much it hurts.
That might be the case. That might be the case.
They can't strap you down.
And I know the odds of something going down while you're under are so minuscule, medically speaking. But the idea that I would suddenly not be with my children because I had to get hair attached to my skull is like I can't cross that line yet. I can't.
He died doing what he loved.
Getting weird lower neck hair attached to his skull in a higher location.
He insisted that time 3 they not put him under so we could enjoy it. I went in for a medical procedure. My thumbs, before I was vegan, my thumbs had bad arthritis.
Yeah.
So they both hurt really badly. So I went in to get an injection into the thumb.
Yeah.
And the first injection hurt so bad. It hurt like holy fuck. I have very good pain management, very good pain tolerance. And this was astonishing how much it hurt. So when they finished that first one, I said, oh, the other one's all better. Fixed it, all done. And they said, well, you were complaining that the other one was worse. I said, oh, not anymore. We're fine. But I actually took it like a human being. I got the second one done. But boy, did it hurt.
What was the actual procedure?
I think sticking a needle into the joint of my thumb and moving it around to make me cry.
Oh.
They had to find out what tendon it was that was hurting, find out where it hurt the most, and then inject shit into it.
Oh.
It put me through the roof.
Oh.
It's like that.
And that it was based on your feedback as to where it hurt the most?
Yes.
Oh, so there's no.
A plaza meter.
Now you are. This is the perfect study of why people confess to crimes they didn't commit, right? I bet by the second thumb, it was the first tendon they went to look for, right?
Yeah. That's the one. Yep. Oop, yep. Actually, I think it was just the skin over here, just barely. I think it surfaced actually. Squirt that on the skin.
So they can't. So then you can't take anything to take the pain away because it's your accuracy of detecting pain that makes
What
them
you
understand,
can do
right?
is get rid of the fucking chicken and beef and let it go away that way. I did.
Right.
Go to vegetables.
Yeah.
So as we slowly adjust to the new normal, we still need to be smart about how we do business. Luckily, there's stamps.com to make things easier. Thousands of small business owners have discovered the benefits of stamps.com in recent months. They've been able to keep their businesses running and avoid the crowds at the post office, all from their own computers. With stamps.com, you can print postage on demand and avoid going to the post office. And you'll save money with discounted rates you can't even get at the post office. Stamps.com also offers UPS services with discounts up to 62% and no residential surcharges. I'll tell you, the UPS thing is huge that Stamps.com is doing that now. They're a longtime supporter of the show. We love them. Stamps.com brings all the mailing and shipping services you need right to your computer in the comfort of your home or office. We all use Stamps.com. Is that right?
That's right.
Oh yeah.
It is the greatest thing in the world to not have to worry about stamps or postage or anything, but just get all that done. And then you can have thousands. You've had thousands, right?
Yeah.
We've sent out 5,000 things at once, and the post office just comes and picks it up,
It's incredible.
like they'll be able to do with the ballots. Like I said, stamps.com, you get great discounts too. 5 cents off every stamp and up to 62% off USPS and UPS shipping rates. Right now, our listeners get a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage and a digital scale without any long-term commitment. Just go to stamps.com, click on the microphone at the top of the homepage, and type in
Penn.
That's stamps.com. Enter
And
stamps.com, and there's our Cappella group. I got to tell you, boy, that's a great company, stamps.com. I just love them. And speaking of commercials, Matt Donnelly had a harebrained scheme for Penn Sunday School, which we're implementing.
Yes.
You jumped through all the hoops, didn't you?
I did. I went to I had multiple meetings with Glenn.
Dustin Hoop.
Dustin over at Cast Media, make sure they were on board with everything. We're launching a Patreon page for our congregation, right? For our listeners. We've had longtime listeners. A lot of podcasts have Patreon page. I've had 2 successful ones with other podcasts. And I think we came up with a cool plan to help this out. You know, it's maybe not totally 100%, but no. I think it's fair to say that there are times we certainly were buttressed over here at the Penn Sunday School podcast by the Penn and Teller show, right? That by Penn and Teller being a thriving live show business, and that business is not in business anymore. And
right, this was the Penn Sunday School was a loss leader, and now it's
right, yeah. So
leading to nothing, just loss. But here's the thing. I want to tell you before you go into this.
Yeah.
I was arguing with Lawrence O'Donnell Jr.
Okay.
Right? And this is not his political position, but he was arguing the political position that society's money being given to rich people was a waste. He said you had to give money to the people who were working less. And then he said, because there are assholes like you. And then LOD asked me this question and said, this is, of course, we've run this experiment. If you stop being paid for doing all Penn and Teller stuff, stop being paid for all your writing, stop being paid for your podcast, would you keep doing it? I said, well, yes, I love it. He said, that's why society is stupid to pay you. That is wasted money. The people working at McDonald's, they will not show up to do their job if you don't pay them. You and Bill Gates, you'll keep working. You're assholes. Do not pay assholes.
Yeah.
So this is the worst sales pitch possible. If you go to Patreon and you give, it's a small amount of money, right? Like what the first tier is $5,
Yeah. Yep. $4.99.
and you give us $4.99. We will keep doing Penn Sunday School. If, however, you do not, I will keep doing Penn Sunday School. That's my threat.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's it. With that in mind, we wanted to make it fun, and also Reddy, myself, and Godot are barely employed. So this isn't about giving a rich guy money as much as it is supporting
Keeping the rich guys alive.
The artist formerly known as Rich
Yeah,
is what I am. I was a rich.
that's true. That's true.
I'm not a poor guy. I'm not suffering. But my last conversation with my accountant, it turns out if you're making a shit ton of money and you go from that to zero for 6 months, it does make a difference in how much money you have.
I know. And
You should try when you start with nothing. It's really impressive.
Yes.
No doubt about it. No doubt I'm doing better than others. I'm just saying rich is less of a word than I would used to use.
Sure. And knowing you're going to have a meeting with an accountant, I kind of want to put this patron out there ahead of that meeting.
One of the things the accountant said was, why are we doing Sunday school?
Yeah, do you want to keep paying your mortgage or three schlubs over Zoom? And I thought, why don't we try to get a Patreon together? So we have $5. $5 is the first tier. Go to patreon.com/Penn, patreon.com/Penn, PATREON, patreon.com/Penn, and then $5 you can get our episodes will come out ad free on their own RSS feed. We'll also
That's good. Always, anything I listen to, I always pay to get ad free, and always pay because if I had my druthers, I know no one agrees with me on this.
Yeah.
But when the internet was first really hitting, and I was spending a lot of time at Bell Labs and MIT, and there were a lot of think tank stuff. I pushed really hard for nothing on the internet to be free. Nothing. Yeah. I pushed very hard for you would put in credit card number, and then it would cost you maybe 1/1000th of a penny for every web page you visited.
Yeah.
And there would be no ads whatsoever, no ads anywhere, and you would just pay for everything you watched. A tiny, tiny amount. So $5 would last you. And I've tried since then, although I don't feel comfortable doing it on porn because I don't want to give them my credit card.
Right.
But for everything else, I always try to pay. Because if people were being paid, 1/100th of a penny, you could run weird websites with, here's every battleship from 1950. That guy would get a little bit of money. You could support yourself. So I also would I pushed really hard on music for every time you listen to a song. Every time you listen to it, 1/1000th of a penny goes to that person, the artist or the company. And for the way I see the world, I would much rather pay 1/100th of a penny to watch a 15-minute YouTube video than have an ad pop. And the proof of that is that I have the premium YouTube, so I don't see ads on there.
Oh, wow.
Go on.
Yeah, so we'll give ad.
Undermine it.
You'll get two ad-free episodes a week. Plus, it generates its own RSS feed. You add this RSS feed to your podcast player. We can add throwback episodes that we choose. Like, for example, we can start, go back and find every Gilbert Gottfried episode. Things like we're going to try to come up with fun ways to be selecting throwback episodes of each week for that feed. You will get access to. We're working on the best system possible for this. We're still working out the final details of it, but you're going to get access to the entire back catalog. And this has actually been a tough thing with this podcast in particular.
People have
switching
been complaining about that.
Yeah.
Not having the back catalog. We'll give you the back catalog so you can shut up.
So you get the access to the entire back catalog, and that's due with a heroic effort by Ready Rich that is possible.
You want the back catalog? Spend the $1.
And you got the you get discount codes on merchandise. And honestly, another thing about this level is that basically I wanted a place for Penn to publish all the little things that he generates all the time that he kind of reads on air sometimes he doesn't. And I just thought Penn always puts out a report every time he reads a book. Penn occasionally writes a poem. Penn will sometimes draft an article for a news site, and they'll suddenly not want to run it because the news changes or something like that. And so I thought,
because it's written by a crazy person.
Because it's written by a crazy person, we're like, oh, you're crazier than I thought. We don't want to run this. Or sometimes you'll reread a chapter of a book or something like along those lines. And I just thought this would be a great spot because it's hard to read all of that on air. Why not share Penn Publishing right there for every member? So that's all the first tier. The $5 tier is all that.
A good case in point is about a month ago, Al Franken, former Senator Al Franken from Minnesota, also former Saturday Night Liver, who I've known for years, said that he'd heard an interview with me where I said that Donald Trump never laughed. I never heard him laugh. I heard him laugh derisively in a bully way. Hey, you're fat and ugly. But that's not a joyful laugh. And Al was inspired by that and wrote a short story called The Day the President Laughed, and wrote this fantasy short story about all the entertainers trying to get the president to laugh. And he asked me to brainstorm with him. And I, of course, wrote Godot into it. I wrote Piff into it. And I wrote Penn and Teller into it. And then I do a voice on the audio version that's going to be on Sirius, probably on some pinko left-wing channel. I think it's debuting today. But if the Patreon gets rolling, I will ask Al if we can put that up.
Oh, cool.
Half-hour short story that I wrote with Al Franken and do a voice in it. It's very good. You've heard it, right, Godot?
I have heard it. It's great. Really fun.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's the thing. So, I feel like we need an outlet for these casual publishings that you always do anyway.
He pretends that Godot is from Paris.
It's great. He does an impersonation of me with a French accent.
Yes, so Al Franken does his Godot impersonation.
Yeah.
And Godot is very upset that Al Franken doesn't do Penn.
Yeah. Penn got to do his own voice, and I don't think that's right. He did an impersonation of me. He did an impersonation of Piff. I really wanted him to do Penn.
Also, there's other layers on the Patreon.
Yes.
And, I do these cameos, which I love doing. I did another one. Mostly people do, you go to cameo.com, and I'll do a couple-minute video for you for someone's birthday or anniversary or to cheer them up or something. Someone had me do one that was a poem to their dog. They wrote a poem for their dog.
What rhymes with bark?
And wanted it read by me. Someone else wanted me to just cheer him up. Someone else had a question about Frank Zappa. And I love doing these at cameo.com. But when our Patreon's in place, we're also going to have a tier where you can get that from the directly through Sunday School.
Yeah.
And also get all the other bells and whistles at the same time.
Yeah.
And there's other things. I saw the list of stuff you offered. And at the higher rates, it's pretty interesting. Pretty good fun stuff that I'm looking very forward to doing, because one of the things is I miss people.
Yes.
Yeah.
When I ended up doing the Cameo for Robin Quivers at Stern and didn't notice.
Yeah.
Howard asked, "What does Penn need the money?" And I said to Howard, "I don't know if I need the money, but I sure need the work. I really miss interacting with people, even in that kind of way.
Yeah.
I miss people coming up to me after a show and saying, 'Do this video for my friend.'"
Yeah.
And so that's it for basically at the high tier. For the same price that you'd pay for Cameo, you'll get a Cameo plus. You can come record a question for Penn. Either you can come on air and ask, or you can record that ahead of time and we'll play it on an episode of Penn Sunday School, and we can address your actual listener mail to you on air. That's included in the Cameo tier with that. And of course, you'd be thanked by Penn. Obviously, if you come on air, you'd be thanked by Penn. But if you get a Cameo from Penn through us, you'll also be thanked on air here by Penn at the end of the episode. So that's all at the high tier.
Cameo type thing if we do it through us.
Yes, a Cameo-like video.
Kind of like answer Rubik's Cube.
And middle tier will also get you thanked on air, as well as you'll get an autographed postcard, an autographed thank you postcard from Penn each month you support us at the middle tier.
I would like to.
And we want to recognize you. We want you to interact with us, and we want to really have a nice little landing spot for members of the congregation. So I think
See if it's worth it. If you think it's worth it to you, go to patreon.com/Penn, Penn, and that's Patreon, Patreon, right?
Yes. Yeah.
It's a good thing. I do it for others, and I think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
I've done it for a few theater groups during lockdown and stuff like that, and I enjoy it.
Yeah. I want to make it fun for our listeners. So, and if you have other ideas of other things you want to add to the Patreon, things that we can consider, just write me, Matt@heyscoops.com. Just write me, and I will see if I can add it to the Patreon.
He won't even talk to me. He'll just add it to the Patreon.
Sure, Penn will do that. Absolutely no problem.
I'm going nude water skiing with somebody. Good.
And actually, because you did want this, so we have goals. So we hit a certain monthly tier goal. We do a live Q&A. The whole community rallies, and we go above what I call the Super Satan amount, $6,666 a month. You'll do a live Patreon-only Q&A.
Oh, good.
And then, and because you mentioned this in the one meeting we had, if we reach 50 million, we'll move into your house and do Penn Sunday School from your house for a year.
Good.
I wasn't consulted on that one.
Yeah.
So while we're on the subject
of
Al Franken, somebody, and you know who it was, Reddy, who challenged us to say good things about Trump?
I don't want to say his name.
Okay. One of the listeners challenged us, threw down the gauntlet. And that's not really right. Challenging us to do that is already unpleasant. He just said we should open our hearts. Isn't that a better way to put it?
Sure.
And
It's not the truth.
challenge is more accurate, I think, in terms of Reddy's interaction.
Could we say some good things about Donald Trump as president? I have always wanted a president to see what it was like to have a president without a filter. We ran that experiment, and I don't like it. But I wanted to run that experiment. I really did. So it's good that we ran that experiment. Now we don't have to do it again. I now want a president who is kind and inclusive and thinks before he speaks and, more important, tweets.
Yeah.
I want that from a president. I didn't think that measured was that important. I want unfiltered on Celebrity Apprentice and an improv, and I want filtered in politics. I didn't know that before. I now know it. There's no truth to that whatsoever, by the way.
I'm laughing at the accuracy of it for sure.
Also, and people can argue with me on this, I think it's possible that we are getting less war with Trump than we would be with someone else.
Yep.
Now, we are set up for much bigger war, much more terrible war, and maybe a trade war with China and falling apart with Europe. But maybe, just maybe, there are fewer people being killed in our name right this second. Now, that is measured against at least 100,000 people being killed by his incompetent handling of COVID.
Coronavirus. Yeah.
But we're trying to find good things. Now, I've done a couple. Good things about Donald Trump.
No, I don't know that I can come up with any. You took the one that I thought was the one. I believe that we are probably bombing less people at random, or fewer people at random, and I think that that's a good thing.
I will also say he really helped me see the good parts of Joe Biden.
Yeah, he made that decision easier, didn't he?
Yeah.
What would normally be a confusing time.
I don't think that 5 years ago I had any good thoughts about Joe Biden.
No,
now I'm with them.
We worked on a pilot a while ago to before Fool Us. We followed the Romney-Obama campaign. Do you remember that? We were working on a pilot where we looked at their campaigns together. And it was amazing that how much the candidates did the same thing on stops.
Right.
You know, that is not the case with this election, right? There definitely are people saying very different things on the campaign trail.
That's true.
Yeah.
It was Romney and Obama were, at this point in our lives, identical.
When they talk about the military, they literally use identical words to talk about the military. I'll go. I believe I'm thankful that he pardoned the people that he has pardoned. Not all of them.
Roger Stone looking at you.
Yeah, I don't think Roger Stone should have been pardoned.
Cappella, what's his name? Cappella? What's the sheriff down in Texas?
Oh, Sheriff Arpaio,
Arpaio.
Yeah.
Actually, his a cappella group in college was Apollo a cappella.
Yeah.
Apollo. What is it?
Arpaio.
Arpaio.
Say it.
Joe
what I was
Arpaio.
trying to say.
Opairo.
Arpaio.
Now say it with a cappella in front of it.
A cappella Arpaio.
Yeah, that's what we had.
Rock me, Amadeus. He has pardoned some people who deserve to be pardoned, and so that's always a good thing when a president does that. And he has commuted sentences for people that should have sentences commuted.
Yeah, good people.
Yeah, and that should be done more often by every president. So,
well, maybe don't put him in jail to begin with.
Yeah, I think we need to re-examine a lot of how we handle addictive substances as a community and a society.
Boy, they're trying to thread the needle on not attacking. What's your name, Borden? What's the new Supreme Court justice?
Oh, shoot!
We should have known that would be on the test today, huh?
No, I definitely Comey Barrow. What's it?
Isn't it Barrett?
Barrett. That's it. It's really tricky, if she's a Catholic who speaks in tongues
Oof.
and who believes in prophecy. She is saying she can separate her religion
from reality.
If your religion includes prophecy, how do you separate it from anything?
I don't know.
But I will tell you, this is where things get cynical. If I were in the Senate, and you know something, 5 years ago when I said a sentence like, if I were in the Senate, people were going like, imagine putting that kind of fuckhead in the Senate. Now you're going, well, good, that'd be a step up. Penn would be more measured and sane than Mitch McConnell. Let's get him in the Senate. The bar has been lowered by bar. I could be Attorney General.
The bar.
Um,
The bar's gone bad.
I would have a really hard time when she said, your dogma, when Feinstein said, your dogma sounds inside you very loudly.
Yeah.
That famous quote.
Yeah.
I'm hard pressed. I don't know how you deal with faith in politics. I just don't. You want everybody to be allowed to have their religion, but I don't know how with Kennedy you can say, how can you have allegiance to the Pope and also the President of the United States and be President of the United States of America? I'm not even over Kennedy.
Well,
I mean, if you were talking to Barrett for the Supreme Court for the Supreme Court confirmation, what questions would you ask, Matt Donnelly?
Knowing that the Federalist Society is the only way the right ever puts anyone on the Supreme Court, were you ever conscious of the fact that Federalist Society might be examining your opinions at any point in your career when you're writing decisions based on cases you oversaw?
wow.
That would be one.
I had a good question ready.
Where, of course, when I was writing decisions, that everybody be looking at my decisions and would be part of the public record. So I guess the answer is yes, but not only that.
Good answer. All right, you have my vote. Next, I have another question. I believe it's the 14th Amendment. Do you believe that fetuses are protected by the 14th Amendment?
I think it depends on what fetus you're talking about. There's an instant before birth when that baby is still a fetus, but it's about to be born. So I think this is a question of when humans become human. But certainly a fetus is human.
Uh-oh. Red flag for me.
Yeah. At what point should abortion become illegal, or is it immediate?
I don't think you're supposed to legislate from the bench. I think you have to look at the rules of law and follow that.
Yeah.
I think that it's tough without saying, are you a crazy fucking cat?
If the Pope said jump off a bridge, would you do it?
I think you're doing speaking in tongues and you're doing prophecy. How close are you, ma'am, to handling snakes, you crazy motherfucker?
Is it possible anyone...
Speaking of handling snakes, you have 7 children. 2 are adopted. Maybe you should handle snakes a little less often.
Can you,
you
answer in tongues?
That if we met Barrett, we would love her.
Yes.
I mean, kind, gentle, smarter than the 3 of us put together. And that's the horrible part of it.
I also think that if she spoke in tongues at a Senate hearing, she would not get confirmed.
Oh, I disagree.
Yeah?
I think she could speak in tongues out her ass. And the Republicans would all vote for her.
I would like to see video of her speaking in tongues.
Nothing. What's that?
I would like to see video of her speaking in tongues. Because I got to tell you, my experience of people speaking in tongues is that they're really bad at it. They're so bad at it that they're clearly faking it. And I have never seen anyone convincingly speak in tongues.
Roe v. Wade, Roe v. Wade, Roe v. Wade, Roe v. Wade, Roe v. Wade.
Exactly. It's abba-dabba, abba-dabba, abba-dabba. They lay on the floor and yell abba-dabba until, goo-goo baba, goo-goo baba. It doesn't sound like an ancient language coming through you. It's not.
Well, Matt, from experience, right, in improv, generating nonsense syllables is very difficult.
It's hard.
Right. Sorry, guys. No is the answer to that question.
It's not hard.
To just speak in gibberish?
Yeah.
You mean like in a way that people think it's a language? Or
No.
you mean just to speak just to speak gibberish? Yeah. I think maybe you have like one fail, and I think after that you're pretty good at it.
Okay. We want you to speak in tongues right now
Okay.
without
Yeah.
going to some sort of thing that we can pick up like abba dabba abba dabba.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that was another hurdle involved.
It has to sound like an ancient language we don't know that's communicating and not
Okay.
like Fred Flintstone.
Okay.
Okay? So, Matt Donnelly, now the
Yeah.
Spirit of God is going to speak through you, the Holy
Okay.
Spirit. Matt, go.
Inino wino fisisi boino. That's me imitating. That's me imitating Elvis from Tolkien.
Imitating what?
That's imitating Elvis from Tolkien.
What's the clowning language?
Oh, huh.
There's an art of language for clowning.
You don't mean
I think it's Italian.
Carney talk.
No, not Carney talk.
Not Piazen Gilette.
No, not fine language. Is just they're supposed like Cirque du Soleil has a clowning language, right?
Called French.
They do speak in gibberish, and that gibberish is approved. I don't know if it's legit carved out as a language.
Yeah, I don't know.
Now, there was a band, an art band, which you probably know already, Rich, called Gong. Remember Gong?
I don't.
Gong was a prog rock art band in the 70s that did all their albums in a language that they made up.
Yeah, Cocteau Twins does that too.
So tonight, Gong and the Cocteau Twins, but we can't tell them playing because the flyer's in gibberish.
That'd be great if we found out that Amy Comey Barrett just was using lyrics of that album without anyone knowing it because it's so obscure.
Yeah, she's doing Sid Caesar from Your Show of Shows is the only person able to actually do it as far as we know.
There is that guy that does the American version, the Italian guy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Peas and rice and what is the name? You're the only one who's ever actually known the name, Ben. You remember it? Peas and rice?
I don't know. They played it on one season of Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul.
Right.
Better Call Saul.
We've got so much more to talk about. We've got Godot's tire repair. We got Matt Donnelly's garage sale. We've got a lot of Fool Us recaps. We've got viewer mail. By the way, it was recorded before the lockdown, you fuckhead. So good. We'll talk about all that. But for right now, that was Penn Sunday School.
That was Penn Sunday School.
Cha-cha-cha.
And to our listening ears,
You become
angels sang and round us rang the music of the spheres. Sunday School.
Kizabatino, Sutabat, Yahalo, Hallo, what Overture will be way.
Sunday School.
Throw the battle out.
And Sunday School.
You know we love you.
You know, Penn, she